Today we will be reading about the next part of the reproductive health, that is population explosion and birth control method. In the previous class, which was an introductory class, we have read that why this reproductive health has been introduced in our curriculum and what are the problems and the strategies of the government in regard to that. Today we are going to read about a very vital thing, that is population explosion and birth control method. Now population explosion, this term has come for a rapid increase in the population over a very short duration of time. That is what is meant by population explosion, a rapid increase in population over a relatively short period of time. That is what is called a population explosion. Now we have come to know that India is second in terms of population. Prior to independence, the population of India was not so high. Probably there were reasons that there were a lot of epidemics, then better medical facilities were not available, vaccines were not invented, people were not aware of the fact that there should be a perfect reproductive age when one should get married and all. There was no law being imposed on the marriageable ages and all, because of which the girls used to get married at the very early age of her adolescent, and she used to become mother, and as a result there were a lot of maternal mortality rate. The infant mortality rate was also high, and the average lifespan of human being was also very high. So the death rate was high, the birth rate was also high. So there was a balance and the population was not that much. But soon after the independence, the government when had undertaken the family planning programs and the various health related programs to improve the health status of the citizen, due to that there was a rapid increase in the population. If we see in the beginning of the 20th century, the population of the world, it was 1.6 billion, and by the end of the 20th century it became 6.1 billion. So see, it was 1.6 and now it became 6.1, and that India also crossed its billion mark on the 11th of May 2000. And the world, the way it is progressing in terms of population, by 2050 the people are of the opinion, the scientists are of the opinion that it will be around the population will be between that of the 7 billion and that of the 10 billion mark. So such is the situation, which is rapidly increasing. And earlier when the increase was the population was doubled almost after 50 or 100 years, now the span has become so less that it is almost reduced to 30 or 33 years. After every 33 years the population is getting double. So if the situation or the scenario goes on, there will be a drastic impact on the economy of the world as well as of our country. Now, Indian government has introduced this census method. What is that? To count the population, to count the sex ratio and everything related to that of population after every 10 years. It was introduced in the year around 1987, and now after every 10 years the population is getting counted. So the last population census which is given in your NCERT book is about 2001. That was about your 1027 million population of India. But after that also one more population census has been undertaken by the government. That was in the year 2011, which is not given in your NCERT book, but it in 2011 the population of India which was counted, it has reached to 1211 million. So you can see that how rapidly the population is increasing, and that is leading to the population explosion. Now there are various reasons for this population explosion. Let us see these reasons properly. Number one, increase in the longevity. That means the lifespan of the human beings in India has been increased a lot. Earlier the lifespan was restricted to somewhat around 60 years, but presently because of people getting more health conscious, doing yogas, practicing various exercises in the everyday life, maintaining a proper balanced nutrition, not going for the late night activities activities, sleeping in proper time, taking medicines in proper time, taking vaccines in proper time, all these things have increased the lifespan, and now you can easily find people around 75-80 years living quite a normal life in India, isn't it? Now, increase in longevity here, there is also because of the government's health programs or health facility programs, there is a rapid decrease in the maternal mortality rate, which earlier was in existence. Now, rapid decrease in maternal mortality rate, how it is being possible? Of course, by giving right time vaccines, good nutrition to the mother who is bearing a child. The midwives are trained properly. Early in the villages there were no proper trained midwives, and as a result the mother, when the delivery when was being done in home, that resulted into the death of the mother and the death of the child. So there were a lot of infant mortality rate also, and that a lot of maternal mortality rate also higher when there was no proper training of the midwives and all. But because of the facilities now available, this scenario has been changed. Infant mortality rate has also been reduced because of proper vaccination to the children, proper care to the children, proper nutrition to the children. Mothers are being guided to give the child a breastfeeding. So importance of breastfeeding is being gradually being told to the mother, so that she breastfeeds her child, and as a result the child becomes the child's immunity becomes stronger. Role of reproductive and child health care programs. Now this has been taken by the Indian government. In this again the same things are there, that is your improved medical practices, then better vaccination program, immunization program, better healthcare facilities for the mother, for the child, the midwife trainings, and all those things are there. Improved medical facilities. Now the medical facilities have improved a lot. The drugs are there in the market, pharmaceutical companies are there in the market, government is spending a lot of money for the research work. Then a lot of regular basis the immunization programs are conducted on the population, so that the population get rid of the epidemic problem or the communicable disease problem, not only in our country but in the world as a whole. Next is improvement in food production, storage facilities and transportation systems. Now what are these? Improvement in food production. After the independence, the government has tried to improve the food production by means of green revolution, and because of better road network and railway network, the distribution of these food grains to each and every corner of our country has been made possible, because of which now there is less of starvation in the country, and there is equal distribution of food grains at a very nominal cost to even to the poor people also. So all these things have facilitated for a increase in the population of the country, which has resulted into population explosion. Now here in this regard, I would like to tell you about a British economist. His name was Malthus, and the theory is known as Malthus theory of population. And he said that in this Malthus theory of population, that the food grows in an arithmetic progression, whereas the population grows in a geometric progression. Okay, like it is 2 to the power n, exponential power the population grows. Okay, 2, 4, then 16, like this it will be increasing. Whereas if you talk about the food production, it is 2, then it will be 3, then it will be 4, it will be 5, like this. So it is growing arithmetically, whereas the population is increasing geometrically. So see, every environment has a carrying capacity. What is this carrying capacity? It is the maximum capacity of an environment to withstand a standing population. If the population exceeds that, then the carrying capacity of that environment is lost. So what will the nature do now? The nature will bring about catastrophe in the form of various natural disasters like cyclones, like earthquakes, volcanoes, and they will restrict the population. There will be epidemics, there will be spread of the diseases which will minimize the population. And once the population is minimized, again the nature will take its role of sustaining this existing population. So this is how the nature keeps a balance about the growing population around in the environment. Now, consequences of overpopulation. As a result of the overpopulation, government is finding various hindrances, in the developmental programs. India, in the Asian countries alone, puts a great part or major roles actually in terms of adding to the population. Okay, so India's population is, if you talk about, it's 3 times the population of USA. USA, if you consider it's the country wise, the land wise, USA is so big compared to that of India. But population wise, India's population is more than that. So India, all the Asian countries are actually the developing countries where the population is increasing enormously, because of which they are not able to bring the basic amenities to its people, and they are not becoming self-sufficient or developed like that of the other countries which are having all the basic amenities, including the advanced medical facilities free for their citizen. So government is trying hard, but we being the responsible citizen also have to play a major role in this regard and help the government to bring down the population size to a level in which the country's resources can feed us, as well as we can also have the better life facilities like that of the other developed countries. Now, consequences of overpopulation. Number 1 is poverty. Now, overpopulation leads to poverty. If you have more family members, there are more mouths to feed. So where from the money is going to come? Because if the family members are more, if they are not educated, they don't have the better facilities of life, then how are they going to withstand the pressure on the family? And as a result, the poor remains poor, they remain diseased. So there is no better facilities. Even if the other people are trying hard, they won't be able to get these facilities if they have more members in their family. Scarcity of food, shelter and medical facilities. Scarcity of food, why? Because if there are more members, to buy the food you need money. So if the income is low, how the food grains or how the other things which is required to sustain a family can be bought. So there is a scarcity of food in the family. Scarcity of shelter. To construct a house, the construction materials are becoming so costlier nowadays that people are unable to make a permanent house for them. As a result, they make some temporary shelters. And in the slums, if they live, they are so closely living next to each other that if there is a communicable outbreak of communicable disease, it spreads like a rapid fire in the entire area, and all the people are affected very badly, which is very difficult for the government to control. Medical facilities won't be available. See, basic medical facilities, yes, it is available. Outdoor doctors are there. The common medicines are available free in the hospitals. But if you suffer from a serious disease, in that case, those medical facilities, you know how costly these are. To afford those medical facilities by the common man, it is not so easy. So medical facilities won't be available to the common mass if the population is in excess. Unemployment. This is a serious issue. After being educated, after getting so much of degree, if you are not getting a satisfactory job of your choice, that is something very painful and depressing. So the youth of our country is facing this problem and will be facing this problem until and unless there is a serious check in the population of our country, or else the situation is like that you will be exploited. You will be getting a job of low salary, of dissatisfaction, but there is no other choice also to run your family, to maintain your living standard. You have to get satisfied with the jobs in which low wages are given to you. Next is illiteracy. Now, government has made education free up to standard 10. In some states like Punjab, the government for the girl child have made the education free up to university level also. But doing all these things also is not sufficient. The reason is because people are unaware of the fact that education is going to improve their life standard, their thinking, their everything about their life. So when the parents are illiterate, they really don't find any importance of education for their children also. So if the family members are more, what the parents think, that if I send my child to the agricultural field to work, he will earn something, the family will be benefited. If I send my girl to do some household work as a maid in somebody's house, she is going to earn something, so our living standard will improve. So thinking those things in mind, what happens is that the poor families send their children to these kind of jobs, and as a result they drop out from school. So if they drop out from school, their education is not complete, so they also remain illiterate like their parents, and they also don't understand the importance of education. So illiteracy is a curse rather for any kind of country to become a developed country. So how can it be overcome? Of course it can be overcome if the population is sized. Now we will move on to the next section of our chapter, that is birth control methods. How to control the population rate and how to get our country into the list of the developed countries, that we will see now. Let us continue the various contraceptive methods. Now the contraceptive methods have been employed. The reason is to have a perfect control over the birth, as because we have come to know about the various problems which is faced because of the overpopulation in India. So that's the reason why the contraceptive methods are into existence to control the birth rate in India. Now this has been categorized into various types. We will be going one by one. The first one is called the natural method. Now natural method is something in which there is no external agents to control the birth. Now what is there? It is just by knowing the proper the concept about the reproductive health, that about the menstrual cycle, when does the ovulation takes place, so that when is the most fertile period or the fertility period. If we can avoid that, then definitely fertilization can be avoided. See, birth control can be done if we will be preventing the gametes to meet with each other, so that there is no fertilization. So first one is periodic abstinence. Now periodic abstinence is the period just 2 to 3 days before of the ovulation. That is, ovulation takes place in the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. So if the sexual act can be avoided from the 10th day of the menstrual cycle to the 16th day of the menstrual cycle, in this 1 week span of time, in that case the chances of fertilization are less. But always it is not successful, because those girls or those women who have irregular periods, in them it is not applicable. Withdrawal or coitus interruptus. Withdrawal or coitus interruptus means just prior to the ejaculation of the sperm, if the male external genitalia is withdrawn from the vagina of the female, that would not lead to the ejaculation of the sperms into the uterine tract, and as a result there will not be any fusion between the gametes. So this way birth can be controlled. Lactational amenorrhea. Lactational amenorrhea is the case when there is an intense breastfeeding of the child by the mother soon after the delivery. During that span of time there is no ovulation, and that is the safe period when there is no chances of fertilization. But always it is not true. Sometimes it can be missed, and then that may lead to unwanted pregnancy. So what the doctors nowadays are doing is that during this lactational period also, the women who is who has delivered the child is provided with some kind of medicines, which is a combination of estrogen or progesterone, or sometimes simply the progesterone, so that the uterine wall, the endometrium wall of the female is not fit for any further implantation, and as a result, even if the fertilization takes place accidentally, then the implantation cannot take place. As a result, there will be no further birth. The next is barrier method. Now what is this barrier method? Barrier means something which is giving a hindrance to the sperm and to the ovum to meet with each other. Now there are various barrier methods which is commonly being used by the people. Now all these contraceptive methods which we are talking about, there is some there is some criteria of these contraceptive methods. That means it should be user friendly, it should be cheap, it should be easily available, and it should not be interfering with the sexual drive of a person. So all these are the criteria of the contraceptive methods. Now next is about which I was talking about, barrier methods. Now condoms are commonly used, as male condoms are more popular than that of the female condoms, and these condoms not only prevent the meeting of the sperm with that of the ovum, but also they help to prevent any kind of transmission of sexually transmitted disease. So this is quite in use and quite popular, and through which the sexually transmitted diseases can be avoided. Diaphragms are a kind of rubber, that is your obstructions or the caps which are fitted into the uterus of the female through the vagina, of course by the under the supervision of some medical experts and all. Cervical caps are fitted into the cervix so that the sperms cannot move further into the, that is your oviduct, for the process of your fertilization. Valves are dome shaped, tightly fitted caps which is made up of rubber, which can be fit into the female genital tract to prevent the sperms to move forward. Spermicidal creams, the name suggests it will kill the sperm. So spermicidal creams, jellies and foams are the one which will be killing the sperms. Even if the sperms are entering by mistake, they get killed because of the spermicidal foams or jellies or creams. Nowadays the condoms are also even externally coated with that of the spermicidal creams or jellies, so that even if the sperms are ejaculated, if by mistake they are released into the fallopian tube, because of the spermicidal creams present on this condoms, they get killed, the sperms get killed. So that is the various kinds of barrier methods. Next is intrauterine device, IUD. Intrauterine device, as the name suggests, uterine, that means these devices can be fitted into the uterine tract of the female, and as a result the fertilization process will be prevented. Now what are these? Lippes loop. Lippes loop was in use just many years back, but now Lippes loop is not so commonly used. These are again some synthetic or the plastic or the nylon loops which are fitted into the vagina of the female so as to prevent the sperms to move further. Copper T, copper 7. Now this copper T, why this name T and 7 is used? The reason is because the shape of the copper is just like that of a T, and this is just like a 7, and it will be copper releasing ions, means the implants will be, the intrauterine device will be releasing copper ions, and copper ions have a property of preventing the sperms from getting into the fallopian tract. That means they will be making the sperms immotile. So if the sperms are immotile, definitely they cannot travel further. So as a result, the sperms will be obstructed, and the sperm's lifespan is also not more than 48 hours. So after that they start dying within the uterine tract of the female because of the acidic environment and because of the phagocytosis process of the that is your female genital tract. Multi-load 375. Multi-load 375 is again a kind of intrauterine device. Now why this 375? Here the turning of the copper or the turning of the metallic wire is around 375 times. So that is why this name has been given as your 375. Progestrate. Now progestrate is, the name suggests that it is a kind of hormone releasing intrauterine device. Which hormone? Progesterone hormone. Why? Because progesterone hormone, if it is released in excess, it will make the environment of the uterus very unfavorable for the implantation. So that is the purpose of progestrate. LNG20 is also such kind of intrauterine device which will be releasing the that is the hormone in 20 milligrams. So that is why this word 20 has been given, and it is a combination of progesterone with estrogen. So these are the various intrauterine device which will be controlling the birth, and that is actually the purpose of the contraceptive methods, that is intrauterine device. Next is oral contraceptives. Now these are the kind of pills which is taken. Somewhat we have discussed about the Saheli, in which the pills are taken weekly, and it is a non-steroidal pill. I told you, indigenously made in India. Maladi is also indigenous to India, but it is a daily pill. When is it taken? From the 1st to 5th day of the menstrual cycle. Any day between that you can start taking it, and after the 21 days there will be a 7 days gap, and again the 21 days cycle will be repeated. So this way, if these oral contraceptives are taken, which is a combination of estrogen and progesterone, then the ovulation process will be not going on smoothly, and as a result, if there is no ovulation, there is no release of ovum, so as a result there will be no fertilization process. But nowadays you see the combination is not estrogen and progesterone. People are more favoring only the progesterone based the pills. The reason is because they don't have side effects on the body. I-pill unwanted 72. I-pill and unwanted 72, what does it mean is that if there is sometimes unsafe sex or any kind of that is unprotected sex, and as a result of this there is a chances of pregnancy, that can be avoided within the 72 hours of the sexual act if these medicines are taken during that time. So as a result, what happens, the couple will be free from the tension of having the unwanted pregnancies. Implants. Now implants are a sort of cylindrical plastic hormone coated, that is your matchstick-like substances, which are put into the skin of the female in the upper arm, on the underside of the upper arm, and it is of course done under the guidance of the medical practitioner, and it is so effective that for 5 years the person is relieved from the tensions of thinking that now the unwanted pregnancies will happen, then what we will be doing next and all those things. So these are effective for 5 years. So this is very commonly used and very safe also, and it is again that is coated with that of the female hormone, that is your progesterone. Next is some injections are also given in which is in combination with estrogen and progesterone, so that ovulation does not take place. If there is no ovulation, there is no ovum. So all these methods basically you see is not letting the sperm and the ovum to fertilize with each other, so that there is no more birth or implantation. Next is surgical method. Now surgical method is the last method, or it is a permanent solution of birth control after the small family motto has been achieved. That means one family, 2 children. When it is achieved, if the family members, that is a couple, wants that we will not have no more children in the family, then they can go for this vasectomy and tubectomy. Vasectomy is done in case of the male. Here you can see that the vas deferens is cut and it is tied. So if it is cut and tied, so even if the sperms are produced, the sperms are traveling, but there is an obstruction, the sperms cannot be ejaculated out of the body. So as a result, there is no question of fertilization. Similarly, in case of female, this fallopian duct, that is your fallopian tube or duct, that is why the name has been given as tubectomy. The tube word has come from fallopian tube. So the fallopian tube is cut and it is tied. So ovulation is taking place normally in the menstrual cycle, the ovum is released, but the ovum cannot be traveling through and coming to the ampulla isthmus junction where the fertilization takes place. So if there is obstruction, even if the sperms are released into the female genital tract, the sperms cannot find out the ovum. So if they cannot find out the ovum, definitely there is no question of fertilization, isn't it? So this way the birth control can be done. Besides this, we have discussed about the various strategies of the government. Incentives are given for the small families. Marriageable age has been made. Statutory that is your ban has been made on the amniocentesis, on the MTP and all those things. So all those things, the reproductive child health care programs, all these are facilitating or helping the people to understand the importance of reproductive health and how to minimize the population problem, which is the serious issue in our country, and as a result we can make our country with good resources and everyone is having the basic amenities of the life properly. So after going through today's class, that is about population explosion and birth control, now what is left in this chapter is about your medical termination of pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, and lastly infertility and the treatment of infertility. Now this treatment of infertility and fertility, this is a very good topic in the sense, because from this reproductive health at least you get 2 to 3 questions compulsorily, and those questions are flat questions. That means they don't twist the question, they directly ask you those things. So those abbreviations, what are they and how is it done, that we will be seeing in our next class.